rolled up blanket, or you can use your block. I'm gonna have you start in supported bridge. So we'll lift our hips up on something a little higher. So you'll end up having your head and your upper back lower, and then your spine will slope up and your hips will rest on something higher. So I'm going to show you two different options. The first option is to take this rolled blanket and place it across your mat like this. Then you would put the back of your pelvis onto that rolled blanket and rest down. So you can tell this is not very high. So once I rest on it, it's also going to smash down a little bit more. So that's giving me a small lift under my hips. So another option would be a little higher, which is to use a block or some books. So you would come down onto your back, lift your hips, and slide that block or book right underneath your pelvis in the back. Take care it's pushed down far enough that your tailbone isn't tipped off the other side. You want to feel a little bit of traction as if your hips are sliding down in the direction of your shoulders. And once you get here, you can choose to keep your feet under your knees, or maybe scoot them out a little further away from your block or book. And also you could choose to widen your feet a little bit so that your knees kind of hang toward each other. Once you're here, your arm position is completely optional. You could leave your hands on your belly, or you could open them up to the side, whichever feels comfortable to your body. And once you get settled here, begin to focus your mind on your breath. Allow the shape of the body to just be. Notice the breath coming fully in and out through your nose. Scanning through the body, notice how you are feeling. Our practice today is going to focus on soothing the back. So we'll incorporate twisting and back bending and forward folding. So the shape we're in now is technically a back bend. So please don't be nervous about back bending. I'm not going to have you put your hands and feet on the floor and do a back bend like you're 10 years old. But we are going to take some gentle, soothing back bending shapes. And while we're here, begin to move the neck, rolling the face to look side to side, rolling across the back of your head. And come to rest the back of your head on the floor. And now bring your right knee into your chest and give it a squeeze. You can leave your left foot on the floor as is, pulling your right knee in as much as is comfortable, keeping your head to the floor, and begin to rotate your ankle in circles while you squeeze and open your toes. push that foot up toward the ceiling. Slide your hands behind the back of your leg. And resist by pushing your leg into your hands. Flex your ankle. Pull your toes down toward your body. Push your heel upward toward the ceiling. Release, bending your knee. Place your foot to the floor again and take the other side. Pull your opposite knee in toward your head, toward your body, leaving your left foot on the floor or whatever foot you didn't already use. But once you're here, circle your ankle in circles, rotate it around a few times each direction while you squeeze and open your toes. Now let's push that foot up toward the sky, straightening your leg. Interlace hands, fingers behind your leg. And instead of focusing on pulling your leg toward you, let's resist, push your leg into your hand. That's going to anchor your pelvis down. Adding a little more traction to your lumbar spine. Flex your ankle so your heel pushes and your toes pull. And exhale, release. Bend your knee again. Both feet come to the floor. All right, now we're going to take some bridge lift. So you can choose to leave your hips on your block or blanket every time you come down. Or you could move your block or blanket out from underneath you and take a full lift and lower of the hips. Completely up to you. One is obviously going to require more effort than the other. You decide where you want to be this morning. So here we go. As you inhale, pressing your hips up toward the sky. As you exhale, lower your hips down. Now we want to be sure that the feet are underneath the knees as you lift and lower. Place your arms beside your body on the floor. Use your arms to press down as you lift up. Again, you can choose if you want to remove your block or blanket. You can choose to come all the way down to the floor. We're going to add on to this time adding your arms. As you inhale, lift your arms up, reaching them behind you. Exhale, lower back down. Try to reach the top of your lift the same time you touch the floor with your hands. Try to reach the bottom of your lower the same time your hands reach the floor. Really squeeze your bum as you rise. We'll take one more of these. Squeeze and lift. Lower down. Now, wherever you are, whether you have a lift or not, kick one leg to the ceiling. And whichever leg is up there, point your toe a little bit, nice and soft, and begin to draw a small circle on the ceiling with your toe. While we're rotating our leg around, take care that you're engaged in your lower abdominal muscles, pulling your belly down and pressing into the floor. Reverse direction. Notice if you're rocking around on your hips. Try to be still. Now we'll try an outward rotation of the hip. Flex your ankle, cross your ankle over your knee. See if that feels okay to your body. With your ankle crossed over your knee, use your hip muscle to push that lifted knee away from your body. All right, one more option for strength. Give it a try. Lift your hips up using only one leg. Squeeze as you lift. Release, lower down. Uncross your ankle. Put your foot back on the floor. Change sides. Pick up the other leg. Reach it toward the ceiling. Add a gentle point. And from here, begin to make small circles with your toe. Remember, engage lower belly. Pressing the abdominals down. Let's go directionally the other way. Notice you're not rocking around. You're nice and stable. Okay, here we go. Flex your ankle. Cross your ankle over your other knee. Use your hip muscle to push that lifted knee away from your body. Option here for strength move. You don't have to go all the way up. You don't have to go anywhere. If you can, push your foot down and lift your hips up. And release down. Uncross. Put both feet to the floor. If you still have something under your hips, remove it. Come down onto your back. Widen your feet toward the edges of your mat and drop your knees to the left. Turn your gaze right, looking over your right hand. So in this case, your knees and feet are going to be far apart from each other. Take care for this particular twist that you have just a little bit of a lift under the back of your right hip. So some of my friends who have back troubles, any of these twists are going to be a little challenging. So take care. You might want only the bottom leg to open and leave the top foot on the floor and the knee lifted toward the ceiling. You could also put some type of a lift under that inner knee so it doesn't fall all the way down. Okay, ready? Let's try the other side. Lift your knees up. Feet are wide apart, right? Drop them over to the other side. Should be the right side. You'll have a bit of a lift under the back of your left side of your pelvis. Feet and knees are not touching each other. Gazing to the left, turning in your neck. Again, if that's too intense on your back, bring your left foot to neutral, foot on the floor, knee in the air. Or prop up your knee with some type of a lift. Okay, let's take windshield wipering these knees back and forth. Drop them over to each side. The next time you come to your right side, come all the way over onto your right side, then press your hand to the floor and bring yourself up to seated. Now from seated, I'm going to invite you to sit up on something. I'm going to use this blanket roll that I made earlier so that I can sit tall. Just going to lift my hips up and cross your shins perhaps, or bring your feet to the floor a little wider than your hips. Get settled, get comfortable, and we'll begin to circle around the torso. Bring your shoulders and ribs to go around the pelvis. Soothing your body here. Breathe deeply as you rotate. pause in the center. Sit up nice and tall. Bring your fingertips out beside your body to the floor. Inhale, raise your arms as you look upward. Exhale, lower your arms as you look downward. Gentle movements here. If your arms don't go all the way up, that's fine. Stop when you hit your bumper. When you hit the curb, that's where you stop. One more, please. Nice big breath. Fill your lungs. Exhale, release down. Now we'll tip sideways. Right arm comes up, tip left, leaning over. Let your left hand be on the floor. Drop your elbow and shoulder down. Tip sideways, coming across. You can look down at your hip or wrist, or you can rotate between up and down, moving your neck. Release, inhale as you reach tall, exhale, let it come back. Other side, inhale, left arm rises, exhale, leaning right. Palm facing down, gazing down to your hip. So if your arm doesn't go up all the way, that's fine. Leave it on your hip or your shoulder or the back of your head, somewhere that feels safe and doable in your body. Continue big belly breathing. Inhale, sit tall. Both arms lift up, reach skyward. Exhale, palms touch and come down to your heart. Let's twist left this time. Rotate your ribs, drop your arms. Right arm will cross, left fingers come behind. Pause right here. Breathe big into the side waist and the side ribs. Exhale deep. Back to center, both arms lift. Twist the other way, turn your ribs and lower your arms. Again, big side belly breathing, side rib breathing. Back center, inhale, raise your arms up, interlace your palms, flip your palms upside down and press toward the ceiling. So once again, if your shoulders don't rise all the way up, you can come forward as much as your arms will allow you to go. You'll lift a little bit, coming up a little higher, or perhaps all the way overhead. Exhale, release your arms down, fold forward over your shins, coming out the front. Find length in your spine and drop in, maybe lowering your elbows to the floor. Or perhaps you have some blocks or books that you want to put underneath. Inhale, rise up, straighten your legs out the front, give yourself a nice long extension, flex through the ankles, toes to the ceiling, squeeze and open your toes, and rotate your ankles. So I said we'd be doing some forward folding as well. So we already did one with crossed legs. So this time we're going to do a forward fold with bent knees. So you can lift your knees as much as feels comfortable. If you have two blocks, I recommend sliding them under the backs of your knees and straightening your legs again. So you can change them to any height, but we're going to fold forward from here. Okay. The easiest way to go at this might be with your knees bent and your feet really wide and lean forward so that your ribs come near the thighs, and your belly and rib cage, belly and sternum can come through the center. I want you to look here for the length in your back. Find nice long spine, tailbone to crown of head. Once you get there, if you'd like to drop your head, go ahead and let your head hang, but try not to round your shoulders. Inhale, lift your face, walk yourself back up, remove your blocks, lean back to shake out your legs. We'll take one more seated exercise. Cross your shins the opposite way if you were seated cross-legged the first time. If you were not, you don't have to do that. Sit the way you were seated most comfortably. Okay. So from here, we're going to start with a leaning twist this time. We're going to turn to the left, cross the right hand to the knee, bring the left hand behind to the floor. Lift tall on the in-breath, rotate deeper on the out-breath. Take the arm behind the left arm, inhale it up high, and lean sideways toward your opposite right knee. Inhale, sit up. Exhale, lean across. Inhale, sit up. Exhale, lean across. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, come across. One more. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, come across and hold. So if this left arm doesn't go up in space, you know the options. Behind your head, on your shoulder, on your waist. All of those will work. Now the last thing we'll add to this is another rotation. With hand behind the head or on the shoulder or hip, rotate to face your lap. Then inhale, open up to sit tall. Exhale, rotate to face your lap. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, rotate, face forward. Inhale, sit tall. One more. Exhale, rotate towards your lap. Inhale, tall. Release your arm and come back to the center. And we'll try the other side. Okay? Sit tall with the in-breath. Exhale, rotate to your right. Cross your lap with your left arm to hold on to your knee. Inhaling, behind arm, right arm lifts to the sky. Exhale, lean towards your left knee. So, right arm options behind your head, on your shoulder, at your waist, leaning here. Inhale, sit up. Exhale, come over. Inhale, sit up. Exhale, lean. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lean. One more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lean and hold. This time we'll bend the elbow, place the hand behind the head, adding on to that twist. Exhale, rotate towards your lap. Inhale, untwist, open up. Retwist. Exhale towards your lap. Inhale, open up again. Exhale, twist towards your lap. Inhale, open up. Last one, exhale towards your lap. Inhale, open. Release your arm, untwist, and come back to the center. Now we'll forward fold over the crossed shins again. So pull your hips back, reaching the sternum forward, leaning out the front, maybe lowering the elbows to the floor or to some blocks or a stack of pillows. Go for length here. Pull your tailbone back, reach the crown forward, relax your breath. Inhale, lift your face, walk walk your hands back. Extend your legs out the front. Give them a shake out. Leaning back to your hands. Rotate your fingers so they point to the side. Plant your feet to the floor under your knees. Lift your hips. Reverse table. From here, lift your heart. Lift your hips. Try to flatten out from knees through your hips to your shoulders. Release, have a seat down, extend your legs long, and once again take that seated forward fold. So you could put something under your knees to bring yourself into a softer forward fold. You could use your pillow, your blocks, your arms. Let yourself drop into forward fold. Inhale, raise your head, walk yourself back up, and shift onto hands and knees, please. Placing your hands under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. Settle in, adding pressure to the underside of each fingertip and each knuckle. Once you get settled, begin to move through cat and cow, pulling your spine to the sky, and opposite, pulling your tail and crown of head to the sky. Don't lose pressure on your fingertips and your knuckles. Don't let it all settle into the heel of your hand, please. Now, the next time you exhale, sit back towards your feet. Drop your elbows, drop your head. Inhale, look forward, slide forward, come up through cow and neutral and cat, and pull back to sit on your feet. Inhale, look forward, slide forward, come through cow, neutral, cat, pull back, sit on your feet. Keep going like that. Slide it through, lift it up, pull your belly, stretch it back. Can you find the back bends, the arches that are pulling us here into forward fold and into back bending? Last one of these, we're going to sit to the feet and stay here. So if sitting on your feet is not comfortable, you could always add a blanket to sit on so that the blanket is on top of your feet and you sit on that instead. Inhale, rise, tabletop. We'll take low lunge here. So bring your right foot forward. So in anticipation of a few lunges, I'm going to suggest that you place your blanket across and you kneel on that blanket. Okay. And we're going to start with a proposal lunge. So you have 90-degree angle, ankle, knee, hip, knee, ankle. 90-degree angles, okay? Right underneath, nice and supportive. You can keep your hands to your knee, or you could use your blocks under your shoulders, okay? Hands to the knee, let's press down, blocks under shoulders, press feet down, lift your heart, lift your crown of your head. Okay, option here to add on with the arms. Inhale, left arm to the sky. Exhale, settle. So we'll tip over from here, bring your right hand to your hip, and exhale, tip to the right. Leaning sideways. Inhale, rise up. This time twist your rib cage and shoulders to the right and slice down with your arms so the back of your hand comes to the outside of your knee. And press your hand into your knee and resist knee into hand. We're still tall in the spine, breathing deeply into side ribs. Option to release your right arm, extended out from your shoulder, thumb facing up. Nice job. Inhale, return to center, and we'll bring one of the blocks beside our front foot and place your hand on that. So if you don't have a block, you have a blanket, you could put it there, or a pillow. Place your hand on your pillow. We'll twist here, rotating your ribs this way. Drop left shoulder, lift right shoulder, rotating towards your right knee. Option, again, to lift your opposite right arm up into the sky. And option to take this into a straight leg lunge by tucking your left toes and straightening your knee out the back. One more breath. Release, coming back to center, and change your legs so you're kneeling on the other side. So we've got a left leg forward this time for a low proposal lunge. Again, we'll take 90-degree angles, placing the ankle, knee, and hip, knee, and ankle in nice, tight 90-degree angles. Hands can stay on your knee for support the whole time. Maybe a block under your shoulder can stay, arms can stay there. We need to press the feet down, right? Find all the corners of your foot. Take the tailbone and push it forward as well. Zipper up the front of your belly, buckle your lower ribs together, and get tall through the top of your head. Okay, option to lift your right arm. Inhale it to the sky. Again, if it doesn't go all the way up, that's fine. You could take it out to cactus, leave it on your hip, put it on your shoulder, put it behind your head. Any of those will work. Now let's tip sideways. Slide your left hand to your hip or your block. Exhale, lean left. Breathe into the side ribs. Continue to push your tailbone forward. Zip up lower belly. Inhale, release, tall spine. Now we'll rotate the spine left and swipe your right arm down to the outside of your knee. The back of your hand will press into the knee will press into the hand. Rotate the ribs. If this is wobbly here, use your block under your left shoulder. You might need to move it a little bit. Hand could stay on the hip, or if you'd like, extend. Reach your left arm out from the shoulder, reaching it wide. Deep breathing. Release, we come back to the center. Now lean forward a bit. Take one of your blocks beside your other foot and place your right hand onto that block. We're going to take another twist. Turning toward your left knee this time. Drop your right shoulder, lift your left, rotating to the left. Option to stay right here or lift your arm up, left fingers toward the sky. Also option to come into a straight leg lunge. Tuck your right toes, push your knees straight. Now notice that's probably going to add a lot more pressure to your hand that's on the floor. So try instead to lift up out of the floor by pressing your feet more, lifting your belly more. Untwist, lower down, come onto both knees so you're kneeling, and we'll reach arms up to the sky and exhale, hands together down to your heart. Okay, so let's take a different sort of lunge this time, coming again to your left knee and your right foot in the front. This time we're going to reach forward. So walk your foot forward of your knee, then slide forward with your hips so that your knee now stacks over your ankle. But the hip in the back is forward of your back knee, right? Nice deep lunge. I want you to feel this stretch here on the top of your left thigh through the front of the left pelvis. Pushing that tailbone forward all the time. Hands can remain to the knee or your blocks or your hips. But if you're using blocks, please bring them under your shoulders. Your shoulders are not wider than your mat. So don't put your blocks out to the side. Right underneath your shoulders. Press down. Okay. Let's lean forward now. You can come elbow to knee, or you could bring your blocks forward, again, under your shoulders. Leaning into this stretch, deeper in the back hip. Now we're going to toggle back and forth. We'll pull the hips back, and I want you to straighten your leg-ish by lifting your toes and straightening out this knee. Tip forward as you inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, pull your hips back, lift your toes, straighten out your leg. If you're using blocks like I am, you're walking forward and backward. Hopefully you have a couple blocks. If you only have one, figure out which one is going to be the most supportive to you and leave your other hand on your physical body somewhere, knee or hip. Let's hold in this long hamstring stretch here. You can add a slight bend to your knee if that feels best to you. But I want you to think about forward folding. So tailbone pulls back. Crown of head and sternum drop forward. Add some traction with this front leg. Press your heel to the floor and drag your heel toward the back edge of your mat. Okay. Release. Bring both hands to the front and extend your right leg out to the right side. Hands to the hips. We're going to take gate pose next. So if this feels stable enough and you don't want to go anymore, you stay right here. Otherwise, arms open as you inhale. Exhale, lean towards the right, towards that straight leg. Maybe your left arm reaches high or comes to your shoulder, hip, or back of your head. Deep breath, big sigh. Hopefully we're still pushing tailbone forward. Hopefully you're still zipping up the front, buckling your ribs a little bit. They're going to need to expand on the side. Return, gate, and release. Let's change to the other knee, how about? So bring your left foot forward. Take your foot in front of your knee, then slide forward into that so that your knee is over your ankle. Toes are pressing down to the ground. Heart is open. If you're using blocks, they're right under your shoulders. If you only have one, you could use your knee and your block. If you don't have any, place both hands on your knee. Tailbone comes forward, stretch coming up the front of your right thigh into the front of the pelvis. All right, we're going to pull back now on the hips. Pull your hips back and extend through a straight-ish leg. We want to add traction, press down, and pull the hips back. Let's go back and forth first. Inhaling toward the front. Exhale, pull back with the hips, slide back. So some of you, all this knee stuff might be really uncomfortable. Go ahead and stand up, and you would bend and straighten your front leg. Bend and straighten. Okay. You decide where you want to be. I'm making suggestions here. What you do over there is completely up to you, not me. Okay, we're going to hold this last one, pull it back into hamstring stretch. Tailbone pulls back, square off the hips so that the left hip is not in front of the right. Press down into your left heel and drag your left heel back toward the back of your mat. Okay, time for gate pose. Hands come to the inside, left leg extends out. Come up to kneeling on your right knee and hands to the waist. Hands can stay there. Notice here with hands on your hips, is your tailbone out the back or can you drop it down and push it forward? That's where we want it instead. Arms open. Exhale, lean towards your straight leg, toward the left side. Maybe right arm lifts high or behind the head, to the shoulder, to the waist. You decide. Big breath. Don't let the tailbone slide out the back. Be strong. Pull it forward. Inhale, release. Exhale, let go. Let's come into downward dog this morning. Hands come to the floor, wider than your shoulders. Fingertips press. Lift your hips. Pull yourself back. Once you get here, find a place that feels comfortable and accessible to your physical body. Maybe that means bent knees. Maybe that means 2 breaths and you're done. That's completely fine. It's your practice. You decide. If you're still here in down dog, let's pedal the feet. Walking the dog, bend one knee. Allow the heel to lift as you straighten the opposite leg. Feel that stretch as you drop into that bent knee hip. The stretch will come not only in the leg, but hopefully in the lower back near the top of the pelvis. Now bend your knees both quite deeply. Walk your hands back to your feet. Once you get there, walk your hands up your legs and begin to stand up. All the way up. Once you're standing, take your arms out and up overhead. Exhale the palms together and down to your heart. So rotate your body if you need. We're going to use the length of the mat to move forward and backward. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, palms touch. Come down through the center. Bend your knees, forward fold, all the way to the floor. Hands come onto your knees or your shins, half lift, open up. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, lift from your head, rise all the way up. Arms reach skyward. Palms touch, come down to your heart. Inhale, arms drop down, sweep out and up. Exhale, hands come down through the center. Bend your knees, forward fold, hands to the floor. This time walk forward all the way out to plank like you're going to do a push-up. Please put your knees down if you want to or need to. From here, lower your torso to the ground. Bend your elbows, untuck your toes if you like, lower all the way down. Once you get to the floor, lift your heart, coming up as you breathe in. Exhale, lower yourself back down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower down. Keep your elbows near your body. Press the ground down and forward with your hands. Press your toenails. Tighten your thighs. Press your tailbone. One more. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. Slide to your forearms. Inhale, lift your heart. Pull your navel back. Crawl yourself back into tabletop and downward dog. Bend your knees. Walk your hands backward to your feet. Half lift. Hands to your knees or your shins. Exhale, forward fold. All the way lift. Bend your knees. Rise up from the crown of your head. Palms touch. Exhale, hands to the heart. Let's try that again. Inhale, arms reach down. Out and up. Exhale, palms touch and come down through the center. Bend your knees all the way down to the ground. Walk forward so your hands come all the way out to plank. Drop your knees if you like. Untuck your toes if you like. Lower your body completely to the ground. Elbows point backward. Untuck your toes. Cobra. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, lower. One more cobra only. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, lower. Pull yourself back to downward dog any way you like. Bend your knees, walk your hands back toward your feet, forward fold. Half lift, heart comes up, crown comes up. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, lift all the way up, arms reach to the sky, hands touch and come down through your heart. All right, shake it out. Nice work, moving around today. So we'll take a balance pose once we're here. And this balance shape is a little bit of a back bend, so it's not my favorite for some people. So please take care if you have lumbar spine issues. So this one is a quadricep stretch, but adds in a little back bend as an option. So let's start with the quad stretch. Standing on your left leg, I'm going to use the wall as a support. If you want to go and get a chair or near the wall, go right ahead. Stand by the kitchen counter, table, whatever. Hold on. Then you'll lift your right foot into your right hand. So maybe your foot's still too far away. Grab your pant leg or sling a scarf around your leg and bring that foot up as best you can. We want to bring the knee pointed down to the floor and near the standing leg. So, quadricep stretch, tailbone push forward. Press your hand into your foot. Option to raise your other arm higher, but still holding on if you need. Now, here's the back bend. You're going to push your foot back into your hand and find that back bend in your lower back. Option to lean a little forward, finding your balance. Find something you can focus your gaze, your drishti, smooth out your breath. Try not to let your right hip lift. We don't want to open the hips to the side. We want to keep them pointed at the ground or in front of us. And release, come to stand up tall, shake out your legs, and we'll try the other side. Turning around, hold on to whatever you need. Plant your standing leg foot. We really want to find all four corners, right, before we come into a balance. Then lift your left foot, placing it into your hand. Press strongly here, foot into hand. Knee stays pointed downward. Heart stays tall and open. Tailbone presses forward. Feel free to stay here. If you want to take that back bend, you're going to start by pressing your foot backward into your hand. Raise your opposite arm up as an option. Maybe tip a little forward. Keep the hips pointed down. Keep breathing. Keep smiling. And release. Come back up. Okay, shake it out. We'll take hip circles again, wide feet. Circle those hips. So we did this earlier, circling the torso around the hips. Now we're going to circle the hips around the torso. Reverse direction. Back to center, arms open wide. Rotate your toes out and your heels in. Bend your knees and bend your elbows. You can take this as wide and deep as your body is ready to go, okay? My knees right now are just slightly bent, so we want to take maybe a little more flexion, but if you take more flexion, your knees are going to go way out over your toes, and we don't want that. So we have to widen the feet, right? Bend a little deeper. Vertical shins. One more breath. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, let go. Okay. We are almost out of time, folks, so let's bring ourselves back down to the floor. And we're going to finish as we began with a supported bridge. So So if you had a rolled up blanket, get that blanket. If you were using a block or some books, go ahead and get that. You decide what you want underneath you. Bring that blanket or block nearby, but don't get it just yet. Come down on your back. Take your feet wider than your hips and drop your knees to the left. So option here to take this twist in another shape. We want to drop the knees to the left and keep the shoulders to the floor. So if you would like to bring both knees together, go right ahead. Breathe deeply into that lower back twist. Feel it rise up a little. If you've got a different shape in your twist, maybe it's more in the middle of your back. If you feel any pinching or twinging, please stop doing what you're doing and go back to neutral spine. One more breath. Try the other side. Lift your knees. Drop your knees down to the right. Again, you decide what kind of twisted shape you want to make. If you want to bring your knees and feet together, go right ahead. Return to center. Find that lift you're going to use to raise your hips up for supported bridge. Lift your hips, slide the block underneath you. Underneath maybe the blanket, slide it under the back of your pelvis. From here we're going to take our legs up toward the ceiling. If it's not comfortable for you to take both up at the same time, bend one and lift just one leg. Now, it also might not be comfortable to you to lift your leg up because your hamstring won't allow your leg to go up. If that's the case and you have a strap or a scarf or something nearby that you could hold on to, you could help yourself hold your leg up in space. Or you could turn yourself over to the wall and bring your heels to rest on the wall. Adding on to this, do the same thing with your arms that you're doing with your legs. Dangle reach your arms toward the ceiling, but then relax them so they sort of hang. And feel the energy and the blood flow force itself to pump in the opposite direction. Alright, if your arms are up, bring them down. Next, bring your legs down. Next, lift your hips, remove your lift, lower your hips, fully breathe in and out. Bring one or both knees towards your chest. Squeeze into forward fold. Hands can hold on top or behind your knees, it doesn't matter. And find any final stretches or movements that your body requires before you settle into Shavasana. As we begin to settle the mind and the body, gather any extra layers of clothing or extra blankets, your eye pillows, whatever you need to feel supported, warm and comfortable. Bring your mind's eye inward to find the breath coming in and out of your lungs. And call to mind the image outside of your window of fresh spring. Bring to mind the green shoots coming out of the ground, all the flowers in bloom. Remind yourself there is rebirth, there is light after darkness. Take a moment to consider when you are allowed to bloom once again, when you are allowed to come out once again, what will you do first? Take a moment to bask in the beauty and the warmth and the happiness that will bring to you when you're able to do so. Now, considering what will happen in the future and how happy you will feel then, how can you apply that to today and where you are right now, where you have to be? Now, in the interest of time, if you are able to continue to stay here longer in Shavasana, by all means, stay as long as you would like. If you're going to be finishing class with me, take a moment to take a full deep breath in and out through your nose and out through your mouth. Gently add movement to fingers and toes. Slowly bend your knees and bring them in closer again, giving yourself one more squeeze. Big sigh out your mouth, roll to your side. Support your head with your arms for a moment. One more time, big breath in and out. Press the ground, bring yourself upright. Find once more a comfortable way to sit. Lift your heart. Broaden your shoulders. Lift the crown of your head. Exhaling, bring your palms to touch in front of your heart. Lower your chin downward. Inhaling, raise your hands and face upward. Exhale, open your arms wide. Bring them around and back together in front of your heart. Thank you everyone for taking this time to share in your practice with me. Enjoy your day. Namaste.